Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Southern National Speedway in Kinley, North Carolina for Hooters Cup Late Model Racing. Tonight's Hooters Sports presentation brought to you by Hooters, home of nearly world-famous chicken wings. By Jackaroo Barbecue Sauce, it's not just for barbecue anymore. By Naturally Fresh, nature's finest blended naturally. By Red Dog Beer, be your own kind of dog. And by Goodyear, #1 in racing, #1 in tires. Good evening once again, everybody, and welcome to Southern National Speedway in Kinley, North Carolina, where we are going to be bringing you the Red Dog Beer 200. $10,000 to win tonight for the Hooters Cup Late Models. I'm Roby Helm, Mark Bishardi alongside, and Mark, the car's pulling out onto the Speedway now. This is going to be a good one. We've got a lot of the Hooters Cup stars mixed in with a lot of the local favorites here at Southern National Speedway, and 200 laps tonight, a little bit different than what we normally run.
Right, and I'm excited about the lineup that we have. We've got a few young guys up on the front row, and John Crow and Mario Goslin. And the guys we expected to be real fast and take the pole are in the third row. And Dick Anderson and Bobby Gill. So we got some guys back in the field that are going to want to move up, but it's 200 laps. So they're going to have to work on just being patient, drive this racetrack the way it needs to be driven, and worry about pit stops later. Some of them can go the full 200, and some of them can't. So it's going to be a strategy race.
And as you saw in the graphic, a beautiful night for racing, temperature in the 70s. And here are the Hooters Cup point standings coming into tonight's event. Mike Garvey still on top with 541 points. Dick Anderson in the second spot at 500 points. Third is Mario Goslin picking up a new sponsor. We'll be talking about that tonight with 495 points. Daryl Shellnut at fourth at 487. John Crow, the leading rookie driver, is in the fifth spot with 460. He's followed by Bobby Gill with 426. Daniel Keene not in action tonight, still under the weather, 369 points, and we want to wish Daniel a speedy recovery, and we hope he'll be back out here on the circuit soon. Mr. Excitement, Jimmy Cope in the 8th spot with 362 points. He also has a new sponsor we'll be talking about this evening. Steve Christian, another rookie with 339 points, and in 10th, the veteran Ronnie Sanders with 331 points. So those are your top 10 in the Hooters Cup late model point standings. Here's 11 through 20. There you see the veteran Larry Raines with 319. Another young rookie, Jeff Burkett, with 272, tied with the veteran Jody Ridley, the 6-time national late model champion, also with 272. Randy Fox next in line with 270, so a good bunch right in there. Nevin Jenkins with 236. Gary Jones not here tonight with 191. Lonnie Vaughn also not here tonight with 140. Jerry Simons with 110, along with Tracy Goodson. And Craig Willard in the 20th spot with 108 points. So those are your top 20 in the Hooters Cup late model point standings. There you see running through some of the order there. And Mark Bishardi, this is going to be an interesting race. One thing that we are going to be looking for tonight is pit strategy. 200 laps. And the thing that the drivers and the crews have been talking about, some of them think they can go 200 laps without a stop, and some of them believe that they're going to have to stop maybe around lap 100.
Right. Some of them have got smaller gas tanks than others, so it's going to definitely make... We need to go to a break right now.
Right. We're going to take a quick break and come back and set the field for you. We'll be right back from Southern National Speedway in Kinley, North Carolina. And we are back at Southern National Speedway in Kinley, North Carolina. And here's your starting lineup for tonight's Red Dog Beer 200. Starting on the pole position, young rookie driver John Crow out of Harrisburg, North Carolina. Outside of row 1, Mario Goslin in car number 10. Second row on the inside, it'll be Jimmy Cope out of Pinellas Park, Florida. Outside of him, it'll be Mike Garvey, the point leader, in car number 91. Third row on the inside, Dick Anderson in car number 92. Second in the point standings. Outside of him, a winner of 2 races this year, Bobby Gill in car number 71. Fourth row on the inside, another rookie, Steve Christian in car number 12. Outside of him, the veteran Ronnie Sanders in car number 18. In row number 5 on the inside, Jeff Burkett, another rookie in car number 74. Outside of him, Sheldon McNair Jr., one of the local drivers here in Kinley, North Carolina. Row 6 on the inside, Randy Renfro in car number 11. Outside of him, Derek Gilchrist in car number 78. Row 7 on the inside, Daryl Shelnut in car number 7, currently third in the point standings. Outside of him in car number 44, the defending Formula Cup champion Anthony Lazaro making his second late model appearance. Row 8 on the inside, Jim Kelly in car number 77, another local driver. Outside of him, Randy Fox in car number 4. Row 9 will have Paul Avery on the inside in car number 87. Outside of row 9, car number 37, Larry Raines. Jody Ridley, the 6-time All-Pro champion, car number 98, starts on the inside the 10th row. Outside of row 10 in car number 1, another local driver, Danny Parker. In the 11th row on the inside, Michael Calhoun in car number 31. Outside of him, the 30 car, it'll be David Smith. 12th row on the inside, car number 3 for Devin Jenkins. Outside of him, another All-Pro veteran, Ron Barfield Jr. in car number 97. Starting in row 13 on the inside, it'll be Don Davis Jr. in the 06 car. Outside of him, it'll be Mike Whitcomb in the 55 car. Starting 27th on the inside, it'll be Larry Thompson in the 61 car. Outside of row 14 in car number 59, Doug Jackson. And in row number 15 on the inside, it'll be Dwayne Linville in car number 62. And rounding out the field out of Alabama, Tony Walls in car number 81. That's your starting lineup and a good mix. We're going to be looking at a lot of battles tonight, Mark Bishardi, as the cars come down the front straightaway as they wave to the fans in the stands here. A good crowd here tonight, Mark. And John Crow starting on the pole position. And Mario Goslin, who has finished second in the last 3 events to Dick Anderson, he's going to start on the outside of the front row, while Dick Anderson, you see him there on the inside of row 3.
Well, Mario Goslin right now is going to want to get a good jump on John Crow. If he can get by him and put a couple cars between him and Dickie Anderson, try to make it to where Dickie's really got to work to get to him. He'd like to beat that Dodge one time.
John Crow on the pole position, the Jackaroo Barbecue Sauce Chevrolet. John Crow has been doing a little testing here, ran a event here, and won the feature here. So he's got some experience at this racetrack.
Right, and he's proved it tonight, sitting on the pole, fast qualifier. Surprised a few people, but most of us who see this week in and week out know that this is a race car driver.
And Mario Goslin on the outside of row 1. You see the Budweiser on the side of his Chevrolet Monte Carlo, a brand new sponsorship. He's excited about that. Their crew is really pumped up about it. The lights are out on the pace car. It's heading for the pit area. We'll be looking for the green flag this time by Mr. Excitement, Jimmy Cope, car number 15. You just saw him drive out of your screen as he has a new sponsor in Miller Genuine Draft. Point leader Mike Garvey on the outside of row 2. Here comes the field off the 4th turn. The green flag is out, and the Red Dog Beer 200 is underway. And John Crow from the pole position will take the lead through turns 1 and 2. Mario Goslin in the 10 car will settle into the 2nd spot. Working the outside, it's Mike Garvey in car number 91. He rides in 3rd. He'll fall into line behind Goslin with Jimmy Cope in 4th. Dick Anderson brings the 92 car up into 5th. Race leader John Crow is only his 2nd year of driving race cars. Mark Bishardi came out of the Legend Car circuit over at Charlotte, North Carolina, moved to living right now in Harrisburg, North Carolina, and he is originally from Long Beach, California.
Right, he moved to Carolina to really learn how to race. He got in the Legend cars, won a national championship in those cars. It was picked up by Robert Hansky to drive this car that Robert Hansky builds. Robert's great at taking young drivers and teaching them a lot, so he's obviously taught John a lot so far.
John Crow is your leader, and he has pulled out to about a 5-car length advantage over Mario Goslin in car number 10. Mike Garvey riding in that 3rd spot, and in 4th is Jimmy Cope with Dick Anderson in 5th. And there you see the advantage John Crow has over Mario Goslin. There's Mike Garvey camped out on Goslin's back bumper in the 3rd spot with Jimmy Cope in 4th. And it looks like the drivers have fallen into a nice steady race pace. This is a 200-lap race, a long way to go, and I'm sure that a lot of these guys are going to be trying to save their tires because, as we were saying at the top of the program, in fact, the race director for the Hooters Cup Series, Don Nerone, so we asked him who he thought he was going to win the race, and he said whoever doesn't make a pit stop.
Well, that's going to depend on when the cautions come. They feel like that if a caution comes out with 40 laps to go, and somebody like Dickie Anderson or Bobby Gill or Mike Garvey go in for tires, they're going to be hard to hold off, even, you know, no matter how far back they start in the field. But the leaders right now are just falling into a rhythm. They just want to stay where they're at, be patient. But then you got Jody Ridley and a few of them that had bad qualifying runs, Ron Barfield. They're all going to want to try to move up fast. So the racing right now is going to be in the back of the field.
And one guy that we're going to try to keep our eye out on is Daryl Shelnut, as he started 13th in car number 7. It's kind of a little bit further back than we're used used to seeing him start.
It's probably his worst start so far. And it's tough on him right now, being he's, what, fourth in the points right now. So he's the only one of your point leaders that's starting that far back in the field.
There's Dick Anderson in car number 92, the Mopar Performance, Citrus Chrysler Plymouth DuPont Paints Dodge Daytona. Dick Anderson, he has 3 race cars. He has 2 Dodge Daytonas and a Dodge Avenger. This is the car that Dick Anderson raced here earlier, and we have trouble up in turn number 2 here. The caution flag is out. So the field's slowing down. It looks to be the 06 car of Don Davis Jr. and the number 62 car of Dwayne Linville. That taking place a little bit back in the pack from the leaders, but you can see front-end damage to Davis's car, the 06 car, the Triple D tooling car, as he has it back underway. Also has damage on the left rear quarter panel, and it looks like he's caved that in pretty much now. Mark Bishardi, that could create a big problem for him, especially if he has to make a fuel stop during this race, because you can see on the left rear corner of that car, the fuel nozzle right there. That may be a problem for him.
It's going to be real tough on him. He's just going to have to bide his time most of the race. That was a tough incident because he was racing against Dwayne Linville, who this is his first time ever racing. I mean, this full year is the first time he's ever been in a race car. So he's on a big learning curve right now, and it just experience showed right then.
You say that his name is Dwayne Linville. Any relation to Frank Burns, Larry Linville?
He's a distant relative of the legendary Dickie Linville that comes from this area. But he said he's not a real close relation. I talked to him about that. He's just starting his own deal. So he's just young. He's trying to learn.
Gaining some experience up there. We saw the Davis car in the pit area. They popped out the damage on the front end of the car, but they've got a lot of work to do on the left rear. And we have the field under caution. And your race leader is John Crow in car number 38. And we were talking about Dick Anderson in that 92 car before the caution flag came out about the cars that he had to his disposal. And he was very busy during practice. He brought the Dodge Avenger that he has a second-place finish and 2 of his last 3 wins. He's won 3 in a row. 2 of those came in the Avenger. And the Dodge Daytona that he has with him now is not the car that he won at 411 Motor Speedway with. They took that car to Lakewood, Florida, practiced with it. They said they liked the way the car ran so well they put a tarp over it. This is the R&D car that Dick Anderson has here tonight. He drove the car here earlier this year and finished, I believe, second in it, won a 50-lapper here earlier. So he's up and running in the 5th position right now, looking for his 4th straight win. Field is going back to green right now. There you see Linville back on the track. Davis also coming back out on the track. And Jeff Francisco, the Vice President of Marketing for Jackaroo, up in the flag stand with starter Tony Boswell as we go back to green. John Crow out in front. Mario Gosselin in second. Mike Garvey in third. Jimmy Cope holding down the 4th spot with Dick Anderson in 5th. Mark, it doesn't look like the Crow is able to open up the lead that he had earlier in the race. Mario Gosselin staying right with him.
Right, he didn't get the start that he got on the original start of the race. Right now there's a lot of respect between the first 6 drivers. John Crow is new to these drivers, but Mario Gosselin, Mike Garvey, Dickie Anderson, Jimmy Cope, and Bobby Gill have all raced together a lot. There's a lot of respect up there, so they're just going to race right now and find a rhythm that they can run 100 laps at before they really start making any moves.
I think if you're planning on making no pit stop, you want to try to drive the car as smooth as you can, not to put any excessive wear on those tires so you'll have a little bit of the air.
I talked to the drivers before the race, and a lot of them said this is an easy racetrack to drive. You don't use a whole lot of brake going into the turns, but you stab the throttle hard when you come out to be able to get a good jump off the turn. So it's going to be interesting to see how many of these guys can go as far as they really feel like they can go.
There you see the 6-time All-Pro champion Jody Ridley in car number 98. He's coming off of his best finish of the season on the Hooters Cup Trail. He started 14th at 411 Motor Speedway a few weeks ago in Knoxville, Tennessee, and came home with a 3rd-place finish. And he's looking to maybe repeat that tonight. He's got a little further to come back from. Started 19th in the number 98 Parkway Ford Fiber One Ford Thunderbird. But Jody Ridley, he likes the longer distance races. We're running 200 laps tonight, and that might fit right into Jody's strategy.
Right. If he'd have qualified a little better, this would have been a perfect race for him. He's going to have to run hard right now to try to get further up in the field, which might dictate that he is going to have to stop for tires later in the race.
Right now, Jody Ridley battling with Randy Fox out of Fort Myers, Florida, in the Wayne Bowes Tomatoes #4 Chevrolet Monte Carlo. So a classic Chevrolet Ford battle going on there as we go back to the leaders. John Crow out of Harrisburg, North Carolina. Gosselin, he's starting to look to the inside. Looked like he might have had an opening there, Mark, but Crow had the horsepower at the end of the straightaway.
Right, he's just going to have to try him every now and then to see whether he can make the move, and it looks like it's just about to stick.
He just quite can't get the front of that Budweiser Chevrolet up underneath the Jackaroo Barbecue Sauce Chevrolet at the end of the straightaway. And it looks like with Crow on the outside, he might have a little bit better line going into the corner in some of the earlier preliminary races they were having tonight. We were watching guys trying to pass on the inside, and it looked like once they got down on the bottom of the racetrack, the front end wanted to push up the banking.
Right, it looked like brakes were causing them to go into the turn, stop, and then have to turn. But right now, I think Mario Gosselin was just trying him to see what he could do. He found out he could get up on the inside of him. So he's just going to bide his time, I feel like, right now, and maybe wait a few laps and try it again. He knows he can do it now. He knows he can get up there with him, but lap traffic's playing a little role in it right now.
They just went around Larry Thompson in the 61 car. John Crow got a break there. It looked like he hit that lap traffic just right going into the corner, and Gosselin had to check up a little bit on the high side as he was in the corner when he went around Thompson.
Right, and it's going to see how much power Mario Gosselin really has, whether he can reel him back in now that they have an open racetrack. But that's the name of the game. Sometimes you catch lap traffic right, and sometimes it messes you up.
So not only does Mario Gosselin have to worry about reeling John Crow back in, now he's got a rearview mirror full of Mike Garvey in car number 91, the point leader. And Garvey has 3 wins this season, and after a rough race a couple of races ago at Flemington, New Jersey, and a 4th place finish at 411 Motor Speedway, Garvey's tried to get back on track again, and the first of his 3 wins came right here at Southern National Speedway this season.
Right, Mike's so smooth. We got a wreck on the backstretch.
And it looks like Ronnie Sanders in the 18 car, another car backwards going into the turn. That's Jeff Burkett in the 74 car, the Action Tools Chevrolet. So Jeff Burkett sitting up on the high side of turn number 4, and a lot of smoke coming out of that car. So we'll be back to find out what happened. But until then, we'll take a quick break and be right back from Southern National Speedway. Helm and Mark Pishardi back with you from Southern National Speedway in Kenly, North Carolina, as we are under caution with 35 laps in the books of the Red Dog 200 for the Hooters Cup late models. And the reason we are under caution is for a crash and a blown engine up in turns 3 and 4. And we also have a couple of cars making some pit stops. But right now, let's take a look at what happened up in turns 3 and 4.
Unbelievable.
And we are looking for the 74 car, Jeff Burkett. There you see the engine coming unglued going into turn 3. And right behind him, it looks like that may be Anthony Lazzaro in car number 44, or the 18 of Ronnie Sanders. And Mark Bishardi, that has got to be a feeling that a race car driver does not like to feel when a guy blows an engine in front of you. It was Ronnie Sanders in the 18 car.
Well, it looked to me like Jeff Burkett knew something was going to happen. He started moving to the top side of the racetrack, but Ronnie looked to me like he was going to follow him, as if, you know, maybe he was going to try to go to the outside with Jeff Burkett, but the engine just let go, and Ronnie had nowhere to go and just spun in his oil, and so did Anthony Lazzaro.
A tough break for Jeff Burkett. Had high expectations tonight in the 74 car. The Chevrolet Monte Carlo looking for some major sponsorship on that car. Qualified 9th fastest out of a 30-car field tonight. And they are going to need some help to get that car back together again. And we hope that somebody will come through for Jeff Burkett and get their name on the rear quarter panels of that Chevrolet Monte Carlo, because he's a up-and-coming young driver.
Right. He's a joy to talk to. He's fun to watch race. The rest of the guys on the circuit like him. Sponsorship's what it's all about. As you can see, Mario Gosselin raced the first, 12 races of the season without a sponsor, and here he is as one of the leaders tonight. So sponsorship is major. Jimmy Cope's got a brand new genuine Miller Draft sponsorship. Bobby Gill's got the new Goodwrench. So let's go back to the replay. We got another angle, so.
Yeah, we can take another look as Jeff Burkett blew the engine going down the back straightaway. And there you see Randy Fox in the 4 car diving for the bottom of the racetrack. Outside of him, he's got the 77 car of one of the local drivers, Big Jim Kelly. And there you see they're coming into the smoke. And you're right, Burkett did a nice job of keeping the car up to the outside. As you can, in the middle of your screen, you can see the trail of oil that came from behind the 71 car. Sanders right behind him just had no place to go, Mark.
That was a tough break for Ronnie Sanders. You don't know whether he was already in the oil and couldn't turn to the bottom of the racetrack or whether he thought he was going to follow Jeff Burkett around the outside, but there was no place for him to go. Once you get in that oil, it's like skating on ice.
And we're getting the signal. We'll go back to green in one more lap as the lights go out on the pace car. John Crow, your leader in the 38 car with Mario Gosselin second, Mike Garvey third, Jimmy Cope fourth. Fifth will be Dick Anderson in the 92 car. Running sixth is Bobby Gill in the 7th spot. It's the 12 car, Steve Christian. We haven't talked about Steve much this year, but he's got a fine run going.
Yeah, he's a good young kid. He's really looking forward to racing with this series. He's had some up and down so far this season, but he's really looking forward to next year.
Green flag coming out as they come down to complete lap number 40 of the Red Dog 200, so still a long way to go. And Mark, it looked like John Crow got a good start that time on Mario Gosselin, and the rest of the field falling in behind.
Right, they've all been taking notes on watching how Dickie Anderson restarts a different place every time he restarts on the racetrack. So young guys like John Crow, Mario Gosselin, they're all taking notes, and John used one of them there.
And there's Dick Anderson battling Jimmy Cope for the 4th position as he puts the nose of his Dodge right on the back bumper of that Miller Genuine Draft Chevrolet for Jimmy Cope. 41 laps in the books. This is your battle for the 4th position. And Anderson, he'll race you hard, but he'll usually race you very clean.
Well, with racing with Jimmy Cope, they've raced a lot of years together in Florida, and they know that paybacks happen in this type of racing. So you have to give a little bit, you take a little bit, and if you give too much, you're going to get it back.
Two of the most exciting late model drivers that we've seen in Florida, Jimmy Cope and Dick Anderson, the 92 car. Bobby Gill was right up in there, and now Mario Gosselin is closed in on the 38 car of John Crow as they battle up front for the lead.
Right, I don't think anybody's going to run off and hide from this group. Mike Garvey right now is falling back a little further than what we've seen him so far tonight, but maybe he's just looking in his rearview mirror knowing there's a race going on behind him. He doesn't have to worry about putting pressure on the guys in front of him.
Well, one thing about Gosselin, he can look in that mirror, and he's got about 4 or 5 car links on the 3rd place car, Mike Garvey. So like you say, has a little bit of breathing room so he can wheel and deal a little bit and maybe take some different lines going into the corner and coming off.
Well, if he can keep this kind of distance between him and Mike Garvey, they get in a little bit of a clear racetrack. He may try that inside move again. Might go ahead and take the lead. Maybe he feels like that's where he needs to be.
And in one thing in doing, I'm sure John Crow has kind of set a comfortable pace for himself. But with Gosselin putting the pressure on him, he's got to drive that Jackaroo Barbecue Sauce Chevrolet a little bit harder to stay out in front of Mario, and that might be using his tires up a little more.
Well, that, and I imagine Robert Hampke's talking to him on the radio right now, telling him how to drive the race car. Don't look in the mirror. Mario Gosselin's going to have to take the race away from you. Drive your line, and don't worry about Mario.
You think if it came down to it that Robert Hampke might tell John Crow maybe to let Mario Gosselin go?
I don't think so, unless he's putting so much pressure on him that he's afraid of getting into a wreck. He's probably telling John Crow right now, you know, just drive the race car. The race will take care of itself. And
one thing that'll come into play in that battle is lap traffic, and the leaders are moving up on the rear bumper of Anthony Lazzaro in the Jackaroo Barbecue Sauce Hooters Racing number 44 car. And Mario Gosselin sees that lap traffic in front. He might try to use that to his advantage. Maybe John Crow will go one way and Gosselin will go the other. As they did at Flemington when he took the lead back from Dickie Anderson that time. But lap traffic is going to make a big role in this race. It's slowed down the leaders right now enough that Mike Garvey's closed up, so is Jimmy Cope. So there you see the top 6 cars right there in your screen for an instant there. John Crow out in front. Mario Gosselin in second as Crow goes to the outside of Lazzaro down the back straightaway. So Anthony Lazzaro goes a lap down. There's Gosselin in the second spot as he puts the Budweiser Chevrolet on the outside of the Hooters Jackaroo Chevrolet Monte Carlo. Also going around the outside of Larry Thompson in the 61 car. Garvey running in third. Jimmy Cope in fourth. Dick Anderson in the 5th spot. Bobby Gill runs in the 6th position, and we've got a major tangle coming out of turn 4, and Garvey is involved. That group that was up there battling for the lead, the 2 lap cars, Larry Thompson in the 61 car, Lazaro in the 44 car, both of those cars were a lap down. They tangled up coming off the 4th turn and collected Mike Garvey in car number 91, but Garvey did keep going, and he should be restarting, I believe, in his 3rd spot for the restart.
We'll have to wait and see what the officials come up with, but I had to look out on the racetrack while that was going on, and the 61 car, Larry Thompson, was 2 laps down. And it looked to me like he got a little loose coming out of turn 3 and drifted up into Mike Garvey and turned him around.
Let's take a look and see what happened in turn 4, as we've got a replay of the incident in turn 4, and we'll take a look at that replay right after we come back from a break, and we'll be right back from Southern National Speedway. We are back live from Southern National Speedway in Kinley, North Carolina. Trouble for the 3rd place driver, Mike Garvey, the point leader in the Hooters Cup Series, involved in a crash in turn number 4 with 2 lap cars. Let's take a look and see what happened to Mike Garvey. There you see the cars, and the lap car, the 61 car, Thompson gets into the side of Garvey, and both of them spin down into the infield. They'll collect Anthony Lazaro in the 44 car. But as innocent as that spin looked, I think Garvey's got some other problems that he needs to take care of, as he's been in and out of the pit area twice. As we get set to go back to green as Garvey comes out of the pits, Mark. A tough break for Garvey.
Right, the fender was rubbing on the tire. They came in and fixed that. He's made 2 pit stops under yellow trying to get that fixed. So now he's really got his work cut out for him, because the leaders are less than a half straightaway behind him.
And it looked like a lot of steam coming out of the overflow hose of car number 91. Looked like he also might have an overheating problem.
Well, that was the same problem he had at Flemington after being in a crash with a lap car.
There you see the damage on the left front corner of Mike Garvey's car, and you can see that wisp of steam coming out just at the right side of the windshield of car number 91. That's where the radiator overflow hose comes out of the automobile, and it's puffing a lot of steam out of the front of that car. There you see it as he comes off at turn number 4. So Garvey's got to be paying close attention to that gauge, and he's got the leaders, maybe a half a straightaway behind him, with John Crow out in front and Mario Gosselin second. And as you said, Mark, this is the 2nd time this season that Garvey has had a problem with lap traffic.
Right, and you watch Garvey out on the racetrack right now. He's got a little bit of push through the turns, and he may be doing exactly what he told me before the race you can't do at this racetrack. You can't overdrive the racetrack, and he may be doing that right now, trying to stay in front of the leaders, as we see Mario Gosselin putting a lot of pressure on the young driver, John Crow.
There you just saw Garvey go out of the picture as the leaders entered turn number 1, and John Crow getting some heavy pressure from Mario Gosselin. Looked like Gosselin might have backed off a car length or 2. Looks like he's trying to reload that Budweiser Chevrolet and take another shot at the leader, as it looks like that moving up into the 3rd spot, it's Jimmy Cope in car number 15, as we could have a battle of the beers brewing here.
Right. And Mario is going to try him a few times. If he can make it work, he'll make it work, but he's not going to take a chance on wrecking him. And this is exactly what Mike Garvey wanted. He wanted these 2 to race against each other, give him a chance to pull away, and he's probably 3/4 of a straightaway ahead now. And here goes Mario Gosselin for the lead.
He made the move stick going into turn number 3. Mario Gosselin, your new leader, and smoke coming out of car number 10. Mario Gosselin may have a problem with that automobile, Mark.
Right, it did. It seemed like maybe the fender rubbed on him or something. I thought maybe the motor was going, and that would have been a scary deal for John Crow and the rest of the field.
Well, with a lot of smoke, I think he just came off of that corner so hard he might have, like you say, it rubbed on the fender, or perhaps even broke the wheels loose coming off the corner.
He might have, but it scared a lot of people. I guarantee you John Crow was holding his breath.
I bet John Crow maybe checked up a little bit on that deal, because Mario has pulled out to about a 3-car length advantage over John Crow, and now Jimmy Cope moving up to challenge Crow for the 2nd spot, with Dick Anderson in the 4th spot and Bobby Gill in 5th, as the top 5 cars have pulled away considerably from the 6th place car of the 18 car Ronnie Sanders.
Right, if you watch Bobby Gill right now, he's trying a little bit higher line than everybody else, and that's what lap traffic's going to do tonight. It's going to cause these cars to move up the racetrack a little bit, put a little more rubber down on the track. So Bobby Gill is trying to use a higher groove right now.
And he's trying to use that bumper on the, boy, isn't that a familiar sight? A black Goodwrench car using the front bumper.
Right. He made a statement tonight that he hoped that he could be as exciting as Dale Earnhardt.
At Bristol, right?
Well, I wasn't going to bring that up.
There's Dick Anderson, car number 92, looking for his 4th straight victory tonight. Rides in the 4th spot. Here comes Bobby Gill on the inside in car number 71. Anderson slams the door shut down on the inside as these two veterans who have battled for many years in Florida, as Bobby Gill now living out of Dalton, Georgia, originally out of Sarasota, Florida. And I know that growing up, Bobby Gill watched Dick Anderson race a lot with his father, Billy Gill.
Right, Billy was a legend in Florida. But watching that move by Bobby Gill right there, if it would have been a younger driver in front of him, younger than Dick Anderson, not as much experience, that move might have worked. Because he tried him 3 times on the outside and then dove to the inside. So, you know, he's not going to baffle Dickie Anderson. He's just trying to see what the car will do.
And Bobby Gill's going to step to the outside this time, tucks back in behind Anderson. And that was one thing that you were saying, Mark, that we were looking for. I think Bobby Gill is trying to get Dick Anderson to get busy looking in the mirror, and I don't think that's going to happen.
Right. We got Mike Garvey coming back down pit road again. Looks like the radiator may be giving him a lot of problems. We hate to see that for the point leader.
It looked like Old Faithful as he came down pit road. There you see him in the hands of Sammy Shoemate in the crew, and they're going under the hood of the Mag-B Contractors Chevrolet Monte Carlo, pouring water on that radiator, trying to cool it down. And Garvey is going down a lap or more on this pit stop, but I'm sure that if it's all possible, he's going to stay out there and try to gain as many points as he can out there, as Dick Anderson has been slowly but surely cutting into his point lead, and Anderson right now comfortably running in the 4th position.
Right, and it's tough on a driver with the competitiveness of Mike Garvey now to be sitting on pit road, but he knew he was right in the middle of this pack that was going on before that little incident with the lap car.
Jimmy Cope with his best run of the season thus far, and he has a brand new sponsor, Mark, in Miller Genuine Draft, and he's running up in the 3rd spot, and he's looking like the Mr. Excitement of old back in the Florida short track circuits.
Right, and he described it as just like one of his favorite tracks in DeSoto Speedway, which we'll be going back to later in the season. He always ran good at DeSoto. It was one of his favorites, and this track reminds him a lot of that Speedway.
And Jimmy Cope also had some pretty good help this weekend, too, as yesterday during practice, his brother Mike Cope was here, who is the defending champion of the All-Pro circuit, and he was here lending his big brother a hand.
Well, over the years, Mike and Jimmy never agreed on anything. They race different, they react different, but with age, you seem to mellow out, you seem to gel a little bit as brothers, and Mike helped him set this car up, so maybe this is what Jimmy needed, was a little outside advice on how to set the car up for the Speedway.
I know early in their careers, before Mike started driving, he was right there helping Jimmy with the race cars when Jimmy won so many races in the St. Petersburg, Florida area. So Jimmy Cope definitely looking for a good run tonight for Miller Genuine Draft. There's Dick Anderson still battling with Bobby Gill, and Bobby Gill, another driver with new sponsorship. There you see the GM Goodwrench on the hood of car number 71, as Gill working on the inside, but he's got some lap traffic in front of him. Looks like they might have got together a little bit there, Mark.
Right, and these two drivers are drivers that aren't afraid of pitting. So to take the pit later in the race to take on new tires is something they're used to. So they're not afraid of using up the tires right now.
We watched these two battle at Pensacola earlier in the year, and both of them made a pit stop with about 40 laps to go. And Dick Anderson seemed to get the brakes in, or Bobby Gill rather, seemed to get the brakes in traffic and came on and won the race. And Dick Anderson a close second. So we might see that again here tonight, as pit strategy later on in this event is going to play a particularly considerable role in the outcome of this race. We have about 88 laps in the books now, so closing in on the 90-lap mark. And Mario Gosselin out in front. Once he moved around John Crow with the Budweiser Chevrolet, he has pretty much set sail and has been running his own race out there, and he's opened up right now about a 10 to 12 car length advantage over John Crow in the 2nd spot. Could this be Mario's night?
I'm not going to say I hope so, because I'm not supposed to pull for any driver out there, but his luck is coming. His time is due. Mario right now has got a chance to drive the race car the way he wants to. He has no pressure from behind. He's picking up lap traffic as he wants it. John Crow, on the other hand, I guarantee you Robert Hampke's talking to him on the radio every step of the way, telling him not to worry about Jimmy Cope, drive the race car, and just carry on the way you're going.
Well, Mark, one thing about Mario Gosselin, I think when you take a driver that has 3 straight second-place finishes, if you were to see him pick up the checkered flag and pull in the winner's circle, I don't think there's a driver here that would be disappointed about that.
Right, and Dickie Anderson said 3 times so far that he would love to see Mario win a race, but not at his expense. You know, Dickie Anderson's a racer, but he pulls for Mario because they've had some good races together. And we've got a spin up in turn 2.
We got a spin. It's Derek Gilchrist in car number 78, spinning up in turn number 2. It doesn't look like any other cars involved in that tangle, so it looks like a solo spin with Derek Gilchrist out of Raleigh, North Carolina, in the Tar Heel Wood Chevrolet Monte Carlo. Got the car running again and rolling under its own power, so we'll have to wait to see if he can get back running again, and we'll tell you all about it right after we come back from these messages. So stay with us from Southern National Speedway for the Red Dog 200 for the Hooters Cup Late Models. And we're back at Southern National Speedway in Kinley, North Carolina for the Hooters Cup Late Model Red Dog Beer 200. And we're closing in on the halfway point, working lap number 98. We're under caution for a spin involving the Derek Gilchrist car, car number 78. There you see that car with some damage on the right side of the car coming back out of the pits. And I'm Roby Helm with Mark Bishardi alongside. And Mark, we're starting to see some of the strategy that we talked about earlier in the race with pit stops beginning to unfold, as we saw Jody Ridley come into the pits not once but twice during this caution. Took on right side tires the first pit stop. The second pit stop took on left side tires. So looks like he is getting set to make a run now.
Right, and it dictated what a lot of other people did. I think David Smith and Steve Christensen came in, but they were only going to take 2 tires. When they went around the racetrack, saw that Jody was in a second time for left side, the next lap around, they came in for left sides.
One thing about Jody Ridley is he started 19th on the grid, and by coming in now, he didn't lose that much track position to the leaders.
Right, and a few of the leaders, not the leaders, but the middle of the pack guys all pitted with him, so he gained a few spots on those guys, but he's got tires that are 98 laps fresher.
And as the field works behind the safety car, Mario Gosselin is the leader in car number 10. John Crow running second, Jimmy Cope in third in the 15 car, Dick Anderson running fourth, Bobby Gill in the 5th spot as starter Tony Boswell signals to the field. Everything looks good. We'll go green next time around. And one of the local drivers we've been keeping our eye on, Sheldon McNair Jr. in the car number 13, the blue car, as he runs in the 6th position. He may be a factor before this thing is over.
Right, he hasn't been on the screen too much tonight. He just worked his way up, and he's running right behind Bobby Gill. We've been concentrating on Bobby Gill and Dick Anderson and Jimmy Cope. He's quietly moved up within this battle.
And running 7th in car number 7, look for him in the second half of the race, Daryl Shelnut, after starting 13th. He's moved up close to the top 5, running 7th. As we have 99 laps down, we go back to green. We'll be at the halfway point, 100 down, 100 to go.
Right, Daryl Shelnut's one of them said that he would like to go the full 200 without a stop. Jimmy Cope made the statement, depending on the situation, he wants to go 200 without a stop. So we'll see whether they changed their mind or whether they were just kind of fibbing to us during the pre-race, so that we wouldn't tell any of the competitors what their real strategy was.
Well, Mario Gosselin has had a pretty smooth run going thus far, as he's been holding a pretty good lead over John Crow and running smooth, and we're remaining under caution. We have some liquid on the front straightaway that the officials want to take a look at before we go back to green, and the word is it is oil, Mark.
Right. And looking at Mario Gosselin leading this field for 3 races now, he's had to start behind Dickie Anderson. He's seen Dickie start at all different positions on this racetrack, so we'll see whether he learned anything, whether he can get the jump on John Crow and put those guys a little ways behind where he's got some clear racetrack to race on.
Well, unlike the way they usually do the qualifications, Dick Anderson has qualified well. He's drawn well. In most of the races, the top 10 qualifiers draw for their starting spot. Here they started them straight up. Dick Anderson, the 5th fastest qualifier. I don't believe that we've, in the last 3 races, seen him start this far back. So he's got some pretty tough competition to get around before he even gets to Mario Gosselin.
And here comes something that's unusual. Bobby Gill's going on pit road, and we're supposed to be going back to racing here in a couple laps.
Well, Bobby Gill may be coming in. The crew, it looks like it's scheduled. They're sitting there waiting, and they've gone to the right side of the car. They're going to put on right side tires. And there you see the fresh Goodyear Eagles going on the GM Goodwrench Chevrolet Monte Carlo, car number 71 for Bobby Gill out of Dalton, Georgia. It'll be interesting to see that they're still looking at the oil on the front straightaway as the safety crew is still out. Now we'll wait to see if Bobby Gill will come back in and take on left side tires.
Right, and Bobby may have been just waiting till after the 100-lap mark. And when they threw the yellow again for the debris on the racetrack, the oil, he decided to go ahead and take the chance on tires then. We see Mike Garvey coming out again, trying to make up as many points as he can. He's the point leader. He can't afford to lose any more laps than he has to. So we'll watch Mike and see how long he lasts, whether that motor was hurt with all that steam we saw coming out of the motor.
And don't see too much activity in the Bobby Gill pit, so apparently he's going to stay out there with 2 fresh right side tires. And he gave up some pretty decent track position to come in and take on those tires.
Right, he's going to have to work hard now to get to the front of the field. He may be gambling that nobody else can go the rest of the way, that when they do have to pit, he's going to gain track position, which then he's going to be able to work on guys with older tires. So, you know, it's a strategy move. Sometimes it plays out the way you want it, and sometimes you bite the bullet.
And it looked like they may have found the culprit for putting the oil down on the Speedway. The 3 car of Nevin Jenkins is in. They're looking underneath the automobile where the rear end plug would be. They looked underneath the hood of the car, and we have officials looking underneath the hood. So while they clean the racetrack up and try to find out where the oil is coming from on Nevin Jenkins' Futronic Chevrolet, we're going to take a quick break and be right back with the second half of the Red Dog Beer 200 for the Hooters Cup late models from Kinley, North Carolina. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Back with you from Southern National Speedway in Kinley, North Carolina, the Hooters Cup late model Red Dog Beer 200. Mark Bishardi alongside. We have 107 laps in the books as the field right now is under caution as they've cleaned up an oil spill from the 3 car, Nevin Jenkins, and apparently they may have found that problem as Jenkins out of the pits and back out on the Speedway. And we have Mario Gosselin, your leader, in car number 10. Mario looking for his first win of the season. Mario currently, I believe he's 3rd or 4th in the point standings, Mark, as we see the lap cars forming up on the inside. So that means we'll be going back to green here very shortly.
Right, and Mario's looking for his first win. Right now, Dickie Anderson has gotten rid of Bobby Gill as his nemesis on his back bumper because Bobby pitted for 2 tires. But now he's going to have to worry about Shelton McNair. Shelton races this racetrack a lot, so we'll see what the local can do.
There we see Jody Ridley in car number 98. Now he has 4 fresh tires on the Fiber One Parkway Ford Thunderbird. Bobby Gill with 2 fresh tires in car number 71 as Jody is about halfway back through the field and Bobby Gill about 6 cars behind Ridley, Mark. So we'll be watching those 2 cars to see how they perform when we go back to green flag action versus the cars that have not yet stopped.
Right, Bobby right now would love to get up and hook up with Jody Ridley. They've raced a lot together on the All Pro Series, and they know each other pretty well, so if they could work together, if they could get hooked up, they could go through lap traffic pretty easy.
Starter Tony Boswell signaling to the field if everything looks good, we'll go green next time around. Mario Gosselin on the point. Car number 10, the Budweiser Chevrolet Monte Carlo, John Crow, young rookie driver who already has scored 1 win this season in Hooters Cup late model competition at Lanier Raceway. He rides in second. Jimmy Cope with a good run tonight. Miller Genuine Draft Chevrolet, a new sponsor on car number 15. He's in third. Dick Anderson fourth in car number 92. And Sheldon McNair, one of the top local drivers here, running up in the 5th spot. Mario Gosselin brings the field off the 4th turn as the fans come to their feet. And the green flag is out as Gosselin leads the field in turn number 1. Crow drifts way up high with that lap traffic on the inside. Looked like he might have lost a car length or 2, Mark.
Right, he pushed a little bit because of the lap traffic. He didn't quite get the bite down on the bottom like he wanted to. Mario Gosselin did because he got back by the lap car. But John Crow reeled him in pretty easily.
Field headed down the back straightaway of this 4/10 mile Southern National Speedway. A beautiful facility here, Mark. The track is just 2.5 years old, and I know that the Lamb family that runs this racetrack and owns it, they've done a great job here.
Right, it's a family operation. They told me that when I got here, and they've been awarded the best track in the United States at the Promoters Workshop this year. Dickie Anderson right now is having a little trouble getting by the local driver, Danny Parker. So we'll see what happens right here back in the field. We're still getting that second, third, fourth, and fifth place battle.
And there we're looking at Randy Fox in car number 4, a regular on the Hooters Cup Trail. Larry Raines, a veteran campaigner out of Cummings, Georgia, in car number 37. Randy Fox out of Fort Myers, Florida, in the Wayne Bose Tomato Chevrolet. And Randy having a pretty steady run tonight.
Right, Randy Fox has had some good runs. He's had some bad luck. Larry Raines, this is his type of race. He loves the longer races. You don't have to be aggressive. You drive the car, you save the car, and that's what he's good at.
And there's Danny Parker, the number 1 car. Looks like he's fallen off the pace a little bit in the number 1 car. Just went a lap down before we went to caution in that number 1 Ford Thunderbird.
Right, I think he just had to prove to himself that he could race with these leaders. He did it, now he backs off and lets them race.
And Bobby Gill beginning to work his way up through the field. Brand new tires, right side tires on the number 71 Goodwrench Chevrolet as he moves underneath Steve Christian. So Bobby Gill beginning to work his way back up into the top 10 in car number 71 as he battles with the 55 car. Bobby Gill currently running in 14th position as he moves underneath Mike Whitcomb in car number 55. Now up on the back bumper of Anthony Lazaro in the 44 car. Gill will go to the outside. New right side tires. He's found himself a groove up on the outside.
He's proved that it works. He passed one car on the inside and immediately passed the other car on the outside. Mike Garvey's still having trouble coming into the pits right now. But what we talked about with Bobby Gill wanting to get up and hook up with Jody Ridley, he's only 2 cars behind him right now.
We're watching the battle for second right now. John Crow and Jimmy Cope. And Cope's starting to get impatient. He's starting to let him know he's there. Anderson steps to the outside of Cope. Here we go. Some old-fashioned side-by-side paint swapping stock car racing by 2 of the masters, Jimmy Cope and Dick Anderson.
Right, and they told us before the race, all the drivers said if anybody could run on the outside here, Dickie could do it. He's already proved he could run. Bobby Gill's another one that probably jump to the outside whenever he can. And Dickie Anderson just took the place away from Jimmy Cope. He's battling with a lap car right now, Jimmy Cope is. I'm pretty sure David Smith is 1 lap down.
And David Smith in the 30 car now working on the outside of Jimmy Cope. That's second, third, and fourth right there in your picture. John Crow in second, Dick Anderson in third. Here comes Cope looking back to the inside of Anderson.
Right, and that's going to be a battle all night long unless Dickie can get around John Crow. Jimmy just seemed to have trouble getting around Crow. If Dickie can get around John Crow, Dickie Anderson will go on up and battle Mario Goslin, who has put almost a full straightaway lead on the rest of these cars.
I think Dick Anderson knew when it was time to make the move as Cope was putting heavy pressure on John Crow. And while Cope was working on the back of John Crow, Anderson stepped to the outside. So that's your battle for second and third. And there's Mike Garvey out of car number 91, the MagB Contractors 91. Another tough DNF for Mike Garvey.
Right, he's only had 2 this year, and both of them were caused by lap cars. We're still seeing quite a battle up here for the front for second, third, and fourth. Jimmy Cope hasn't given up. He's still going to drive that race car, drive Dickie hard. But Dickie right now is in a sandwich. He's going to have to worry about Jimmy doing the same thing to him that he did to Jimmy, using John Crow, not quite being as fast as everybody else, as a pick to try to go to either the inside or outside. Dickie right now, I think, is a little afraid to try to jump to the outside of John Crow, or else he's trying to let the tires cool off from that last move and try it again a little later.
We still got a long ways to go. I believe we have 128 laps in the books now, so still a long way to go, but it looked like Anderson and Cope getting a little impatient with John Crow as it maybe doesn't look like he's quite as fast as he was. And look at the advantage that Mario Goslin has running all by himself in the 10 car. I think that Anderson and Cope, and we've got trouble on the racetrack. Caution flag is out. And it's the 97 car of Ron Barfield over in turn number 3. Car sitting down on the inside, and Mark, it looks like he has some damage on the left rear corner. The tire is either flat or perhaps even bent on the car.
He might have made contact with the inside retaining wall.
And we are going to go to a break. We'll be right back with more from Kinley, North Carolina at Southern National Speedway with the Red Dog Beer 200 for the Hooters Cup late models. Stay with us. We'll be right back. And Roby Helm back with you from Southern National Speedway in Kinley, North Carolina, running the Red Dog Beer 200 for the Hooters Cup late models at You see the smoke coming over the top of the grandstand here at Southern National Speedway, and our director, Al Mason, was very excited. He was ready to bail out of the truck. He saw that shot coming on during the commercial. He says, "We're on fire, we got to bail out." But no, there's a barbecue going on behind the grandstand over by the truck, and Al's probably out there now getting some barbecue out there for him. They're putting on that Jackaroo barbecue sauce.
Well, this is a unique racetrack. There's barbecue grills all over the outside. The people come and they pay for reserved spots on the outside of this racetrack. And they leave their barbecue grills here week in and week out. They just drive up, park their trucks, and have a barbecue before the race. It's a great family facility.
We're under caution for a crash involving Ron Barfield in car number 97 out of Florence, South Carolina. Let's take a look and see what happened to the Black's tire Pontiac Firebird. There you see Barfield spinning to the inside of the track in turn 3, and it looked like he cut down a left rear tire, Mark.
Right, and this is a big disappointment for Ron Barfield. He had a chance to come and race with the Hooters guys. He'd heard about them. He'd seen some of the races on TV. He races with the All-Pro Series and is very successful on that series, and he was hoping to come in here and have a good run and show these guys he could race with anybody. So it's a tough break for him. He's got to be disappointed.
And he's got some sheet metal damage up on the right front corner of the Pontiac Firebird. And we're going to take another quick break here and be back with more. We have 135 laps in the books of the Red Dog Beer 200. So we'll be right back after these messages, so stay with us. Robbie Helm back with you from Southern National Speedway in Kinley, North Carolina, running the Red Dog Beer 200 for the Hooters Cup late models. $10,000 to win, and I know one young driver that would really love to cash that check, and that's the current leader, Mario Gosselin, out of Lake Wales, Florida, in car number 10, the Budweiser Chevrolet. The field still under caution as Ron Barfield's car has been towed to the pit area where they changed the left rear tire. He's back out on the speedway, and he'll restart a lap down alongside the race leader, Mario Gosselin.
I think he might be 3 laps down. They count cautions under this deal. Mario Gosselin, you were talking about him wanting to see the checkered flag. Right now, he's doing something he's not used to. He's not looking at the back bumper of that Dodge. He's not really even looking at that Dodge because he's got John Crow in between.
But he is lurking back there in the 3rd spot. John Crow separating Mario Gosselin and Dick Anderson. And if you've just started watching Hooters Cup racing, the last 3 races, Dick Anderson has been the winner, and Mario Gosselin has finished 2nd. So Mario looking to turn the tables, so to speak, and Mario Gosselin was the leader at the halfway point, so he picked up a $500 bonus, so he's already cashing checks out there.
Right, and we've got the rolled up green right now. We should be going racing the next time by.
Mario Gosselin, your race leader in car number 10 as we come back to the green flag. John Crow in 2nd, Dick Anderson 3rd, Jimmy Cope running in the 4th spot. Sheldon McNair Jr., car number 13, one of the top local drivers, a former track champion here at Southern National Speedway, running in the 5th spot. There you see Dick Anderson. He's looking to the outside of John Crow, and Jimmy Cope sitting back there waiting in the wings in car number 15 after running 3rd. Very, in the early going, ran 3rd most of the way, and Anderson had just got by him before we came to that last caution flag to move up into 3rd. Now Anderson putting the pressure on John Crow. I think Dick Anderson knows that now's the time. A little contact there between Crow and Anderson.
Right, and Anderson lost a little bit of sheet metal in the deal. He's going to sit back now and see whether there's anything wrong with the car. Anderson's having a little trouble with David Smith right now. David's a lap down. He doesn't want to give up right now because if something happens to Crow or Gosselin, he could get back on the lead lap. So he's racing these guys hard. He just let Dickie go. So we'll see what happens right now between Crow and Dickie Anderson.
Well, now we've got trouble in turn 4. The 30 car, David Smith, we were just talking about, and I was just getting ready to say that Jimmy Cope was having trouble getting around David Smith, but I think he just found a way around.
Right, we'll have to wait and see what happened there. I happened to be looking somewhere else at the time. But David Smith's a good young driver. He's got a Winston Cup car owner. Right now is his car owner. He owns cars on Winston Cup Series. So David may be somebody in the future you can watch. So we're going back to a replay right now on the attempted pass by Dickie Anderson of the John Crow.
Yeah, they had a close call, John Crow and Dick Anderson. Let's take a look at that on the replay. Here they are coming into turn number 1, and John Crow got down just a little bit, some debris coming off of Anderson's car. So one thing we may have to take a look at, Mark, is Dick Anderson's right front corner of his cars. It looked like he may have maybe bumped the right front tire and wheel of the Dodge Daytona car number 92. We got some debris out on the speedway from Dick Anderson's car. That might have disturbed the toe in on that car.
Right. Dickie fell back a little bit when that happened. And I'll guarantee you, as a veteran driver, he was looking to see whether there was any vibration in the car, whether there was anything that he could see that might cause him not to be able to race with everybody. So we'll wait and see. Dickie's not going to give up yet. He's going to test that car and see whether he can still race it.
And the lap car of David Smith, the number 30 car, the Bob Clark Racing entry out of Williamston, South Carolina, the Ayers Builders Chevrolet Monte Carlo, was battling up with the leaders. Although he was a lap down, he was racing with Anderson and Jimmy Cope, and he and Cope got together coming off of turn 4, and Smith spun the automobile that brought out the caution flag. That, along with the debris, and that came off of the nose piece of car number 92 down on the lower right front corner of that car. Do you think that might upset some aerodynamics on this racetrack?
I don't think so. On a track this short, aerodynamics plays a little bit, but they're running on worn tires right now, so aerodynamics isn't going to play that much of a part. The debris on the racetrack right now, they're looking at Dickie Anderson's debris. With the spin by David Smith, allows them to go up and get that piece of fiberglass off the track before it cuts a tire.
I'm surprised that we haven't seen more of the drivers come in for pit stops. And in looking at the drivers that have made pit stops earlier, Jody Ridley and Bobby Gill, if we could look back through the field, Jody Ridley is running 6th and Bobby Gill is in 7th. Jody Ridley has 4 new tires as of lap, I believe he pitted on lap 95. And we have Bobby Gill, who pitted a little bit later with the 71 car. He has 2 new right side tires. Got another debris we want to take a look, or another replay we want to take a look at with that debris. So let's take a look at that as we go back to green. Okay, we're going to stay with the racing. Mario Gosselin out in front leading, and he's got, we've got trouble coming off of turn number 2. That'll be car number 11, another one of the local drivers, Randy Renfro.
Now, Randy had high hopes for today. He told me he knows this track really well, and he's in a Gary Ballou car, the one that Gary raced here last time. So he expected to be one of the leaders here tonight. But he got down a lap on pit stops, and it looked to me like he was trying to make it up, so we'll have to wait and see what happened there.
Randy Renfro in the Itco Tire T&H Electric Ford Thunderbird spinning in turn 2 to bring out the caution. Let's take a look and see what happened up in turn 2. There's Randy Renfro. Looked like he just got the car sideways, maybe picked up the throttle a little bit earlier than he wanted to up on the outside. Spun car number 11 around to bring out our latest caution flag as the laps continue to tick off. We are less than 50 laps to go, 152 laps in the book, so 48 laps to go. And it looks like things may be setting up here for perhaps some pit stops. We see Jimmy Cope working to the inside. He and Jody Ridley are kind of running side by side there. And it looks like David Smith, nope, he's not coming in. They're going around the 1 car there, the lapped automobile of Danny Parker. I thought maybe we would see Cope come into the pits, but that's not going to happen. So let's set the field for you. Mario Gosselin, your leader in car number 10. John Crow, car number 38, the pole sitter, running in 2nd. In the 3rd spot, we have Dick Anderson in car number 92. In the 4th position, we have the 15 car of Jimmy Cope, the Miller Genuine Draft Chevrolet. In 5th, Sheldon McNair Jr., car number 13. And none of the top 5 cars has made a pit stop for fuel or tires as of lap 153. Running in the 6th position, it'll be Jody Ridley in car number 98. Jody stopped for 4 tires on about lap 97. And in the 6th spot, it'll be, or in the 7th spot rather, Bobby Gill in car number 71. Gill stopped right after lap 100, about lap 103, took on 2 new right side tires in the 71 car. So those may be 2 cars to watch, Jody Ridley in the 98 car, Bobby Gill in the 71 when we go back to green.
And they've already gotten by 2 cars that didn't pit for tires that were fast early, in your Dale Shellnut and Randy Fox. So we're going back to green this time around. We'll see what kind of start Mario gets on the field.
Field rolling off the 4th turn. Mario Gosselin setting kind of a slow pace for that restart. I guess after you are running behind Dick Anderson for as long as Mario Gosselin has in the last 3 races, he's another driver that's learned a lot about restarts.
Right. Nevin Jenkins just moved up in front of John Crow, which is going to box him in, and maybe Dickie Anderson might be able to use the outside. It didn't quite work out that time, but we'll see what happens. This lap car could cause problems. Jimmy Cope's going to try the outside of Dickie Anderson.
And Nevin Jenkins got out of shape as Crow gave him a little nudge down the back straightaway, say, hey, we're racing for position here. You need to get out of our way. He moves to the inside. We've got trouble in turn number 4, I believe. It's
right,
the
we
44 car. Anthony Lazaro tangling up with one of the local drivers, the 87 car of Paul Avery out of Wilson, North Carolina. But Anthony Lazaro making his 2nd start in the late model, driving the Hooters Jackaroo Barbecue Sauce Chevrolet Monte Carlo for Randy Fox, the defending Hooters Formula Cup champion out of Ackworth, Georgia. And let's take a look at the replay and see what happened between Anthony Lazaro and the 87 car.
Unbelievable.
And it looked like we got 2 cars sideway there. The 87 car was on the outside of Paul Avery, and it looked like the 59 car also involved there with Doug Jackson, and Lazaro just had to lock it down, had no place to go.
That happens a lot on a racetrack, especially a racetrack this small and this bank. Things happen quick. When Paul Avery and Doug Jackson got together, there was nowhere for Anthony Lazaro to go.
We've been calling the numbers off on a lot of these cautions. A lot of the local drivers, they are not used to going this distance. So I'm sure they've got a lot of wear and tear and fatigue on their race cars and themselves not being used to going this distance.
Right, they're used to running 35 and 40 lap features. Occasionally they'll go 100 laps, but tonight's something different. 200 laps is a long race you've got to be in shape to run that kind of race.
And in looking on that restart, Bobby Gill moved around Jody Ridley, and we believe that Gill is now riding in the 5th position, and Ridley has moved up into 6th at car number 98. After we went back to green for 2 laps, they moved up 2 spots, so they are definitely on the move.
Well, the former dirt track driver in Shelton McNair thought maybe he could probably use these tires, knowing how to drive a car that's a little loose, but it's hard to beat fresher tires. There's a lot of experience in Bobby Gill and Jody Ridley, and they're going to move to the front. They may have a little trouble getting around Dickie Anderson, Jimmy Cope. This could get exciting back here with these guys knowing how to use wide back bumpers.
160 laps in the books. We're getting set to go back to green, and Mario Gosselin with a good restart as he pulled out to about a 4-car length advantage on John Crow in the 38 car.
Right, that's the first quick start that Mario's made. He usually has a rolling start. He gets them bunched up behind him and then fires. This time it was a quick start, and I think he caught him by surprise. Maybe it's something he learned from Dickie over.
He definitely dropped the hammer on him, and there you see Dick Anderson in the 3rd spot battling with John Crow. Jimmy Cope right there in the 4th position in car number 15, and Bobby Gill closing in on his back bumper from 5th in the 71 car. Anderson looked like he got a little bit sideways coming off of that 4th turn. You think he might be using his tires up?
He's getting a little impatient right now, I think. John Crow's holding him up. He knows that Mario's pulling away from him. He has a faster car than John Crow. Here he is trying the outside.
We've got trouble.
Again.
The 59 car in trouble again. Up in turn number 2, another car up against the wall, and again it's 2 of the local cars.
Dwayne Linville up at the top, like we said, this is his first year in any kind of race car.
So Dwayne Linville in the 61 car, a lot of steam coming out of that radiator. And we also had involved the 59 car of Doug Jackson. So we will sort this all out, line them up again for another restart, and we'll be right back after these messages from the Red Dog Beer 200 for the Hooters Cup late models from Southern National Speedway in Kinley, North Carolina. Stay with us. We'll be right back. And we've just gone back to green flag racing here at Kinley, North Carolina at Southern National Speedway for the Red Dog Beer 200 for the Hooters Cup late models. Mario Gosselin out in front. But right now, the hottest battle on the racetrack, John Crow in car number 38 in second, trying to hold off the hard-charging Dick Anderson in car number 92. Anderson pulls up alongside as they race off the fourth turn. Anderson with the Dodge trying to out-drag the Chevrolet into turn number 1 as they come off the second turn. The horsepower works for Anderson as he picks up the second spot, but now he's going to have to pedal hard, Mark Bouchardi, to pick up the race leader, Mario Gosselin, in car number 10.
And while he was making that move, Bobby Gill moved up into fourth place. He's on the back bumper of John Crow, and he has fresh tires. He's trying the bottom side of John right now. We got problem on the back stretch.
And an
Randy
engine
Fox just
is
blew
a motor on car number 4, and that is going to be a big mess when you see that kind of smoke coming out of the tailpipe. So the caution is out once again as a big plume of smoke coming out of the 4 car for Randy Fox. Look at that smoke, Mark.
Right, and you could see it coming. It was just a little puff at first, but then it completely exploded. That's what they call hand grenade in a motor.
So the infield crew will be out there trying to clean this mess up. We have 172 laps in the books, and joining us now is Jerry Gappens, and we're going to be back to talk with Jerry a little bit when we come back from this next break. So stay with us from Southern National Speedway as we wait for the smoke to clear. We'll be right back. Roby Helm back with you along with Mark Bouchardi and Jerry Gappens joining us as we go back to green flag action. And Jerry Gappens, Mario Gosselin out in front, Dick Anderson in second. Now it's the rookie versus the veteran.
Yeah, you got a guy with 800 victories in second place going after a guy trying to get his first victory, and this is really going to be going to school for Mario, I think. And now it's become a sprint race, really. 200 laps has now boiled down to a 25-lap sprint, and they're going to be all they're worth right here these last couple laps.
And Mario Gosselin has a lap car between himself and Dick Anderson, the 11 car, one of the local drivers. And we've got trouble behind the leaders. John Crow, who is running in the third spot in the 38 car, spins in turn 4 as the yellow flag is out once again. And Jerry, a lot of caution flags in this one.
Well, they kind of expected that. Back in April when they ran here earlier, they had 7 to 10 lap spurts, and then they'd have problem. And I think this time they've done a lot better. They're probably used to the track, the configuration, and so that's helped. This is a tough break for John Crow. John had a solid run going, pole effort, running third, really learning a lot, I'm sure, here. And then this is a tough way to end as you're coming up with the last 20 laps to go the race and be up against the inside wall.
Well, Jerry, I know you're going to be down in the winner's circle after this one, so we appreciate you joining us. Veteran broadcaster Jerry Gappens joining us, and we'll be back with more from the Red Dog 200 for the Hooters Cup late models right after these messages. Roby Helm back with you from Southern National Speedway in Kinley, North Carolina. Mark Bouchardi alongside, and Jerry Gappens making his way towards the winner's circle as we are getting set for the closing laps of the Red Dog 200 for the Hooters Cup late models. Back to green flag action at lap 184. Mario Gosselin out in front. Dick Anderson running in the second spot, and moving up to third, Bobby Gill in the 71 car, Mark.
That caution helped Dickie Anderson. He got around the lap car that he was having a little trouble with a while ago. So now we got a different scenario than we're used to. Late in the race, we've got the Chevrolet up front and the Dodge in second. Normally it's been the other way around. So Mario Gosselin, we'll find out what he's learned so far this year.
Well, one thing about it, neither one of the top 2 cars, either Mario Gosselin or Dick Anderson, has made a pit stop for tires. Bobby Gill running third. He stopped at lap 103 for 2 right side tires.
Right, and if Bobby's going to make it work, he's going to have to make it work pretty soon. We only have 14 laps to go, so he's going to have to do away with this lap car and do away with him in a hurry to be able to get up and do battle with Dickie Anderson.
Jimmy Cope still riding in the 4th spot in car number 15, but he's getting a challenge from Jody Ridley, who stopped just before the halfway point with the 98 car. We've got big trouble on the speedway.
It's on the back straightaway.
Back straightaway, and it looks like the 31 car, the 59 car involved, and the 06 car of Don Davis Jr. So involved in that, the 59 car of Doug Jackson and the 31 car of Mitchell Calhoun. Calhoun out of Florence, South Carolina. Jackson out of Rocky Mount, North Carolina, and Don Davis Jr. in the 06 car out of Gainesville, Georgia, tangling up on the back straightaway to bring out yet another caution flag.
Right, and Mario Goslin's getting his test right now. He's getting a lot of practice at starting in front of Dickey.
It looked like when we went on that last green flag session, Mark, that Mario might be handling a little bit better than Dick Anderson is. Looked like that Anderson a little bit loose on the racetrack because he fought hard to get around John Crow for that second spot. And we've got a replay of the accident on the back straightaway, so we'll take a look at that and see what happened.
Unbelievable.
And coming off of the second turn, it looks like the 31 car spinning down the backstretch, and it looks like everybody's looking to the outside to get by, and that is the 3 car of Nevin Jenkins that triggered the accident on the back straightaway, and then behind that it just looked like a chain reaction.
Right, it looked, whatever the car is on the outside, looked like he got on the binders, and 31 might have panicked, and that caused havoc behind him.
And they're getting them separated on the back straightaway and getting back to, oh, and we got another angle, so let's take a look at that. Our crack camera operators doing yeoman's duty tonight.
They're doing an excellent job. There you have the 31 car spinning. The 87 barely makes it through, but he's on the brakes. Doug Jackson had nowhere to go, and then Don Davis Jr. just kind of backed into the melee.
Doesn't look like very serious damage with any of the cars involved.
They're just having trouble getting them started, it looks like.
Nevin Jenkins spinning in turn 2 to bring out the caution flag, and we are in the late stages of this race. 190 laps now in the books with 10 to go, and I'm sure that the tires that they're running on now are really starting to show their wear a little bit.
Right, and if I'm not mistaken, right now, for the rest of the race, it's going to be a single file restart. The lap cars aren't going to come into play. But we talked about Mario, looked like he was handling a little better. And it probably is, because he hasn't had to work. He's been the leader. He's been able to go through the traffic without a whole lot of work. Dickey, on the other hand, has had a lot of trouble with John Crow. And it's going to be a battle right now to see whose tires can hold
one thing
up.
with the what we talked about earlier with Anderson tangling with John Crow, and they made pretty heavy contact, and Anderson hit Crow came down and hit him on the right front, and that we were talking about that might have knocked the toe in out a little bit, so that might be why Anderson might be a little bit loose on the racetrack.
Right, I think maybe he just might have abused his tires, which is hard not to do, and you got to admire Dickey for being patient with John Crow. He's a young driver, still learning the trade, and Dickey was patient with him as much as he could, but he still used the car up a lot, which is Jimmy Cope's having trouble right now. He's holding off Jody Ridley. Jody 4 brand new tires. Bobby Gill right now is probably going to start on the back bumper of Dick Anderson, because I'm pretty sure the 11 car is a lap down.
That's right. We'll have a single file restart coming up, and Bobby Gill in that 3rd spot. If Anderson indeed is battling a loose race car, I think Gill's going to be able to see that, and he is going to be looking to try to move underneath Anderson.
Well, what's going to be interesting to watch now is Mario has a chance to maybe pull away, because you got newer tires on Bobby Gill's car, older tires on Dickie Anderson's. Bobby Gill will probably be all over the back bumper of Dickie Anderson, which means Dickie's not going to be able to put the pressure on Mario that he wants to, or else he's going to lose a position there. So it's going to be exciting to watch the end of this race.
And when we get to the lap 195 mark, the last 5 laps of this race will be run under green. So it looks like we may have a 5 to 6 lap shootout to the finish as the green flag comes out as they come down to complete lap 194. So 6 laps to go. Mario Gosselin out in front. Dick Anderson trying to chase him down. Dick Anderson's won the last 3 events. Mario Gosselin has run second in the last 3 events. Can Mario Gosselin turn it around tonight? We'll know in 5 more laps as Anderson stays with Gosselin about a car length back, but it doesn't look like that he can reel him in quite as much as maybe he would want to, Mark.
Right, and Bobby Gill's not putting the pressure on that we thought he might. Mario right now is hoping this race goes green the rest of the way. That's only 5 more laps. If it doesn't, you add 5 to the race. he doesn't need those extra laps. He's running the race he wants to race, and he's looking pretty strong right now.
He bobbled a little bit coming off of turn 4. We could see him wrestling the steering wheel just a little bit as we have 3 laps to go. Mario Gosselin looking for his first career win on the Hooters Cup Late Model Circuit. And he has a brand new sponsor in Budweiser, so maybe the new paint job and the new sponsor is making things go right for Mario Gosselin. And there we see Bobby Gill working on Dick Anderson for second. And with Anderson busy with Gill, that pretty much is going to clear the way for Gosselin.
Right, and what better way to please your sponsor than to win the first time out with a brand new sponsor? White flag is out. We'll see what happens. Looks like Mario, unless he makes a mistake on his own, this race is his.
Mario Gosselin brings car number 10 off the 4th turn, and Mario Gosselin brings the Budweiser Chevrolet home with his first career victory in the Red Dog Beer 200. Dick Anderson will hang on for second with Bobby Gill in third, Jimmy Cope fourth, Jody Ridley, car number 98, rounds out the top 5. And Mark, we said it earlier in the broadcast, I don't think there's going to be a driver out there that's going to be disappointed that Mario Gosselin is finally bringing car number 10 into victory lane, coming out of Lake Wales, Florida, winning the Red Dog Beer 200 for the Hooters Cup Late Models.
Well, we talked about that, and as he took the checker flag, I looked down pit road, and I got a chill looking at it. Every crew down there was applauding the fact that Mario Gosselin won his first Hooters Cup race.
And I can tell you that he is going to be a very excited young man, just 23 years old, originally out of Quebec City in Quebec, Canada, moved to Fort Lauderdale, Florida a few years ago, raced a couple of seasons at Hialeah Speedway, and then made the move to Central Florida, Lake Wales, Florida. He won the United Stock Car Alliance Championship last year in Florida, and he has got that helmet off. He's getting those belts unbuckled, and look at that. They put the Red Dog Beer right on the hood of the Budweiser Chevrolet. Here he comes on top of the car. Mario Gosselin, a first-time winner on the Hooters Cup circuit. His girlfriend, Michelle McCrary, down there with him in victory lane, gets a big smooch from her. And we are looking for Jerry Gappens down there to talk with our winner as he is making his way down into the winner's circle. And I know this is one that Mario's been looking for a long time. He's been so close so many times, put a lot of pressure on Dick Anderson, and now tonight able to hold him off.
Well, you look at what he's come through over the years. He used to live in Miami, as we talked to, raced at Hialeah Speedway, and his whole race shop was devastated by Hurricane Andrew. That's why he moved to Central Florida. And to come back and have the learning curve that he's had this year, racing behind Dickie Anderson, now he gets to race in front of Dickie Anderson, and that's got to be a joy for him to look behind him and see that Dodge instead of looking in front of him.
I know the view is a lot better for Mario Gosselin from the rear view mirror than looking out the windshield. And looking at the race that Mario drove tonight, once he got out in front, I think he just put it on cruise control. Didn't abuse the tires, didn't abuse the car at all. And there you see some of the family members down there. And we are going to take a break, and then we're going to come back and we're going to meet this young man from Lake Wales, Florida, Mario Gosselin. So stay with us. We'll be right back with Victory Lane from the Red Dog Beer 200 here at Southern National Speedway in Kinley, North Carolina. We'll be right back. And a picturesque moon over the top of the Red Dog Beer 200 just completed here at Southern National Speedway in Kinley, North Carolina. Race number 13 on the 20-race Hooters Cup circuit. We'll be going to the New River Valley Speedway in 2 weeks up in Dublin, Virginia. And we're looking forward to that. 100 laps for the Hooters Cup late models and 100 laps for the Hooters Formula Cup cars as they'll be joining us once again on the tour. And right now the fans making their way out of Southern National Speedway where they have just seen history in the making. And it's always great to see a young driver pick up his first career win. And 23-year-old Mario Gosselin out of Lake Wales, Florida, just picking up a brand new sponsor, did a real good job for the folks up in St. Louis at Anheuser-Busch, bringing that Budweiser Chevrolet Monte Carlo home in the winner's circle, Mark Brichardi.
Well, you and I worked a race together. It's been, 5 years ago that we saw a young driver by the name of Joe Nemechek win his first one. And look what happened from there. So maybe that same type of deal is in store for Mario Goslin.
I remember the first time that I saw Mario Goslin drive a race car, oh, gee, it was maybe 5 years ago in the United Stock Car Alliance event down in Hialeah, Florida, where Mario was in his first season of late model racing. And at that time in that circuit, Eddie King was the guy to beat with a 6-cylinder Ford Thunderbird. And Mario Goslin raced him very hard. And I knew then if he could race somebody with the experience of an Eddie King, who was one of the top drivers in Florida at that time, that we were going to be seeing a lot more of this young driver. He was just a teenager then.
And he had just moved up from a lower rank, so he wasn't really even used to the cars. He just seems to be a natural, and what he learned from Dickie Anderson in the last 3 races has really paid off.
And we had a lot of caution flags tonight, Mark Bishardi, and we're going to take a look at one of those right now. It was a very quick caution flag, but it was spectacular when Randy Fox blew an engine. Let's take a look at that as he came down the back straightaway after a restart. Poof, the whole engine let go. But one thing about it, didn't put that much oil down on the racetrack. They got it fixed in a hurry, but look at all of that smoke and steam coming out of the exhaust headers of the Wayne Bose Tomato Chevrolet Monte Carlo, filling up the cockpit.
That's one of those smokes you're used to seeing with the shuttle when it goes off.
That's right. So it looked like that might have been something to where they might have broken a water jacket in the engine, because it looked like more steam so much than oil smokes, heavy white smoke coming out of the car. And Randy Fox was okay after that and did get out of the car. We're going to take a different look at the blown engine by Randy Fox from a different angle, so let's take a look at that. And from across the racetrack, and it sounds like our audio tape down there may be having the same problem that Randy Fox had on that car. There might be a little smoke and steam coming out of the tape recorder down there in the truck.
Right, we talked about, or you mentioned the fact that we had a lot of cautions late, and I think that was due to a lot of guys trying to go the distance on worn tires.
That's right. The strategy was we only had 2 of the front runners that really came in and took on tires, Bobby Gill and Jody Ridley. And Bobby Gill gave up some pretty good track position. He was running 4th or 5th at the time he came in and took on 2 right side tires. But Jody Ridley, he had a long way to go tonight as he started 19th, came in, took on 4 tires, came back out, and it worked out for him as he finished 5th. So we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back for more from Southern National Speedway in Kinley, North Carolina. We'll be right back. In Kinley, North Carolina, Roby Helm with Mark Bishardi alongside. We've been waiting for Jerry Gappin's trackside to trying to resolve an audio problem down there and get an interview with Mario Goslin. And if we can't do that, possibly maybe we can get him up here in the booth, Mark, and interview him. And I know that he's got to be very happy and wants to talk to all of his fans across the country that have been watching him in this series. And this is going to keep him in the points battle as well.
Right. It all depends on what happened with Mike Garvey, how many points Mike Garvey lost. I think it'll tighten it up a bunch because, of course, he led some laps, which is points that Dickie Anderson did not get tonight, and he finished in front of him. So it's going to tighten everything up because Bobby Gill's going to move up a little bit. Daryl Shelnut might fall a little bit because he didn't have a very good run tonight.
Yeah, it was a pretty decent run for Daryl. I believe he did finish in the top 10 after starting 13th. He came in late in the race and took on some tires and came back out, but I'm not sure with all the caution flags whether he had that much of an opportunity to use those new tires to his advantage.
Right, he had nothing to lose. He couldn't really lose any positions on the racetrack because he was falling back because of worn tires. So it was a chance he took. Too many cautions maybe, like you say, that didn't give him a chance to get up there and gain a few more spots than he did.
And we're looking forward to going on to our next race. This one's in the books, the Red Dog 200. We're going to a track that a lot of these drivers have not been to before, New River Valley Speedway up in Dublin, Virginia. We will be there on September the 16th, in 2 weeks from tonight. So we're looking forward to going there. The Hooters Formula Cup cars will be back running with us. And then the following week, we'll be back at the new USA International Speedway, 3/4 of a mile track, and a lot of our drivers have tested there. They had about a 2-3 hour test session the night we got rained out last weekend, and we will go back there on September the 23rd for the Budweiser Twin 100s with the Hooters Cup late models and the Hooters Formula Cup cars. And in fact, Dick Anderson, the car he's going to run with that race, he didn't even bring with him tonight. It's sitting in the shop at home with a cover over it. It's ready to go. So I know a lot of these drivers are looking forward to running the 3/4-mile track in Lakeland, Florida, the USA International Speedway.
Right, and the drivers that I talked to today and yesterday, they were still talking about the new USA track, how much they were looking forward to going back when we go back, and how disappointed they were that we couldn't race there. They are really looking forward to that place.
And we're going to take another quick break. There you see Jerry Gappens in the winner's circle. We're going to try to get a interview with Mario Gosselin on tape here shortly and let you hear from this young driver from Lake Wales, Florida. So we'll be right back. Stay with us. And we are back at Southern National Speedway in Kinley, North Carolina, and we're topside as the Red Dog 200 has just been completed, and Mario Gosselin out of Lake Wales, Florida, brings the Budweiser Chevrolet into the winner's circle of the Red Dog 200, and that's always an extra special win for a driver, especially when he's running one brand of beer and wins the race of another brand.
He's just happy. Right now, he's got a brand new sponsor. And as we mentioned before, what better way to break in a new sponsor than have him win on national TV?
And you know, it's always great to see a driver win his first victory because the rest of them come a little bit easier. But Mario Gosselin picking up number one, and we've got an interview with Mario Gosselin. Let's go ahead and go to that.
Okay, and we're down in victory lane, a happy victory lane for a first-time winner, and one of the more famous names in auto racing is Mario, and now another Mario has found his way to victory lane, and I know it's got to feel like the monkey's off your back right now.
Well, you know, we've had a good car. The second half of the season's really been real good to us. We've had a good car last 5 races. We knew it was a matter of time before we won one, and what a better place to win one here at a 200-lap race. Budweiser as a sponsor, just couldn't be any better.
What did you think when you saw Dick Anderson up in your rear bumper there? He had some cautions late. You really had to work for it because no one was going to give you anything. Did it scare you a little bit to see Anderson with all of his veteran experience that he has at this type of racing up there in your rearview mirror?
Well, it sure gets you thinking about it, but I had a good coach on the radio, told me I had a fastest car. Don't worry about it, drive your lane and you're going to pull away. And, you know, sure enough, I just drove my lane, acted like he wasn't behind me. And, you know, I guess I was pulling away from him. I never saw him in my door, so we were all right.
Well, there you have it, a first-time winner, Mario Gosselin. Not to be confused with Mario Andretti, but you're well on your way now. A happy victory lane down here, his first Hooters Cup victory. Let's go back upstairs.
Thank you very much, Jerry Gappens, and we didn't get to talk and hear from Jerry much tonight, but it's good to have him here. Jerry Gappens, of course, with Charlotte Motor Speedway, and I've known him for a lot of years from back in the old days at National Speed Sport News.
This is my first time meeting Jerry. I had heard about him, and it's been fun working with him this weekend.
And there you see a lot of the crowd has made their way down in the winner's circle to meet this young driver. And as Jerry said, a new Mario to watch. We've been watching Mario Andretti in all different kinds of racing for many, many years. And we've got Mario Gosselin from Lake Wales, Florida, winning his first one tonight. And I believe that Mario will be looking at many, many more victories as the years go on.
Well, Mario was talking a while ago about having a good spotter talking to him on the radio, telling him how to race the racetrack. And there's an old thing you hear a lot of these drivers say, that when they get ahead, they turn the mirror up. And chances are he turned that mirror up. Never even saw Dickie Anderson tonight.
I know that he was looking for that. He sure has been looking at the back bumper of that Dodge Daytona for many, many races. And this year, he comes in and hey, there we are. Hello, everybody. We are topside here at Southern National Speedway. But as I was saying, Mario Gosselin finally gets to see clear sailing in front of him. And it seems like when you win that first victory, the rest of them seem to come a little bit easier, Mark.
Right. He said he had confidence going into these races, knowing that he had run Dickie hard. He had come in second, but there's still got to be that little bit of doubt, wondering whether you're ever going to beat that Dodge. There's a lot of experience in front of you. and he got that monkey off his back tonight. He can go into the next few races knowing that he can win a race.
And it's going to be interesting going to New River Valley Speedway in Dublin, Virginia, another track that, of the tracks that these drivers have run at this year, one they haven't seen.
Right, most of them haven't seen it. Bobby Gill and Jody Ridley, I think, have raced there back when I'm pretty sure it was called Pulaski County Speedway. So a few of them will know. Dickie Anderson, I think, may have raced there, but that's only 3 out of this whole bunch.
And that really means a lot. And another thing with Mario Gosselin winning this race over Dick Anderson, we've talked so much about Anderson winning 3 in a row, and the combination of Anderson and Frankie Grill, over 60 years experience, and it's got to be a good feeling to beat talent like that.
Right, and it makes you feel like you belong. I know he come in second 3 races in a row, beat some of these other guys like Jody Ridley and Bobby Gill, but to win a race gives you so much confidence going into the next race that you're going to see a different Mario the rest of the season.
And we're looking forward to that, seeing Mario Gosselin, Dick Anderson, and all the rest battling for positions. And we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back with more from Southern National Speedway in Kinley, North Carolina, right after these messages. And the Hooters Formula Cup cars. And then we are back at USA International Speedway for the initial race for the Hooters Cup late models at that 3/4 mile facility. That coming up on September 23rd, the rain date. And then it's on for an Ohio tour, Columbus, Ohio, on October the 6th or 7th, and Toledo Speedway on October the 8th. So if we are in your neck of the woods, be sure to come out and see us live and in person. Until next time, on behalf of Mark Bishardi and Jerry Gappens, this is Roby Helm from the Kinley, North Carolina Southern National Speedway. We will see you in 2 weeks from New River Valley Speedway in Dublin, Virginia. Until then, this is Roby Helm saying thank you and so long.